All credit for the story and characters discussed in this video goes to PopCross Studios on YouTube. Go check out the channel, link in the description. It's super cool, and I honestly recommend catching up on Multiverse Tales first before you watch this video, although it is quite long. But if you don't care about spoilers or are already caught up, let's begin. I'll start with a bit of background in case you clicked on this video without any prior knowledge. PopCross Studios is a channel run here on YouTube by Christian Pearson, which focuses mainly on the story, characters, and art created by him. The channel prominently features a long-running series by the name of Multiverse Tales, which follows a band of multiverse-jumping superheroes as they fight against the forces of evil. I personally am a huge fan of the series, and one of my favorite parts is how complex the writing and characters can be. Every little interaction between characters feels so natural, and the characters feel like real people. Take Dresden for an example, a 600-year-old overseer who has done nothing but plot the genocide of all other overseers for nearly his whole lifespan. His cruel ambition has changed his once virtuous ideals, and now that his purpose is gone, he's had to live with his horrible actions for the rest of his life. He feels the weight of his actions and expresses remorse for the pain he's caused everyone. He's undeniably evil, but at the time, believed he was truly doing the best possible thing. You can so clearly see where he's coming from since his former life was utterly destroyed by an overseer, so he views them all as monsters and never took any time to truly understand them. I could honestly write a whole nother video on Dresden's character, but we're not here to talk about him. We're here to talk about another one of my favorite characters, Coşmara Noroi. Coşmara is an incredibly sympathetic and deep character, and was the first real one to have a more drawn-out, progressive arc over the course of the series. I adore this character so much and the complexity of her self-acceptance, which brilliantly mirrors her demon curse. Her character arc directly ties into the overarching plot of the second phase, and I think it is perfectly wrapped up in the finale, which focuses a lot on her character, her developments as a person, and her physical and emotional struggles. We'll start with something simple, her design. Mara's design is very well done, looking scary, as a demon curse should, but not exactly monstrous. She shouldn't look like a monster or any other traditional demon since, well, it's a curse. She's not actually a demon, she just looks like one, and her full demon form really gives off a I know I'm scary, but I'm really a good guy kind of vibe. Her human form juxtaposes this, looking innocent and honestly a little harmless, since at heart she's a demon chronicler, not a hunter. I also find it very interesting that her demon form isn't an armor or a coating, it's a shifting mass of demonic matter. This leads to cool utilizations like changing her tail club into a spike or attaching the multiversal orb to her chest. Overall, a surprisingly brilliant design for what could have just been a cool looking demon. We are first introduced to Mara at probably her lowest point. She works for the Predator Coalition of Demon Hunters as a demon chronicler, however, things changed after she was cursed. The people around her could not accept the demon curse, which comes from an understandable viewpoint as they hunt demons for work, but it's still incredibly shallow-minded of them. Her own former boyfriend, Clayton, completely outright rejects her and cannot accept her curse in any sense. These sentiments, of course, rub off on Mara, and she begins to see herself as a liability to her once friends. This is where we first get to see the key character development Mara goes through throughout Multiverse Tales. Her journey of self-acceptance. After living in such a disloyal environment surrounded by unsupportive people, Mara can't see herself for who she truly is or wants to be, only the demon other people see. Until good old Benny Sharp comes along, one of the most surprisingly understanding and accepting characters in the series. He's the one to give Mara the small push towards accepting her curse, and offers to introduce her to the rest of the Sharp gang, a name he clearly coined and was not given permission to continue running with. This is a huge shift for Mara, as her previous friends never once gave her praise or likely even so much as greeted her in the hallway. But her new friends accept her whole self, demon form or not. Supportive people in your life can direct you straight to supporting your own self and who you are. Mara and the Multiversal Melee is one of my personal favorite episodes, with explosive action and a brilliant showcase of Mara's character development thanks to the support she's received from the Sharp Gang. I want to take a moment now to compare the development of Mara as a person alongside her demon curse. I think it's brilliant to have her demon curse slowly develop and engulf her human form as she begins to accept herself for who she is along with her curse. She knows she can't get rid of it, and it's become a part of who she is. Her friends don't like her in spite of it, they like it as a part of her, not just as her. She's more than a curse, but that doesn't mean the curse still isn't her. I believe her demon curse represents her true self, as it grows along with her self-acceptance and is shown to the world. And that idea finally leads me to the episode Mara's Final Kill. Mara's final kill is kind of the culmination of her character arc. She has come to terms with her curse and who she is because of it, and she's ready for whatever will come once she gets her final kill. And in that moment, she reverts to her human form. Has her curse risen? Is she free of it? Of course not. It's a part of who she is. There's no freeing her of a burden or anything like that. She's become more than her curse. She's finally whole. She's finally human, demon form or not. This is why I think Mara's ability to change from human to demon is so genius. She never got rid of anything about herself, only improved and gained. She still has the curse, but she's accepted it and gained control over it. People can still see her as a demon, but on the inside, truly she's human. And people only see that if they're willing enough to look. And while I think that is a solid, fitting end for Mara's story, it's not quite over. Nothing to fear but fear herself. The finale of Phase 2 is from the perspective of Mara, and ties up the final loose ends to her story. The first with Fear herself, the one who initially gave her the demon curse. Fear's plan for Mara was to have her kill the Reaper, but Mara refused and set her sights on killing Fear herself instead. In the end, she keeps control of herself and ends up not killing Fear, tying up her vendetta against the Overseer and setting up Fear's own character for Phase 3. The second, and honestly more impactful, is Clayton and the Predator Coalition, Mara's old friends. This is shown explicitly in two segments, with Jax and Clayton. Jax's reaction to Mara's return and her control over the curse is extremely apologetic. He's incredibly remorseful for the way Mara was treated, and while Mara accepts this, she's still past her old friends and how they acted. Jax is a good person, but that doesn't mean Mara has to be friends with him again. She has a different, more supportive friend group, and has moved past the coalition. Still, Jax represents a good way to handle situations like these. He sees Mara for who she is now, and respects and acknowledges her as a person, and Mara does the same for Jax, accepting his apology but still moving away from her past in a respectful manner. Clayton, on the other hand, showed the worst possible way to handle a situation like this. He was rude, dismissive, and unacknowledging of Mara, and constantly called her demon instead of her actual name. He didn't, doesn't, and never will again see Mara as a fellow human, just a demon curse. But you know what? Mara is okay with that. She doesn't need people like that in her life. She doesn't feel obligated to get Clayton to see or understand her, since he won't. She has better, more important, and supportive people in her life now. This is all perfectly showcased in one small scene smack in the middle of the big final battle. Clayton and Mara meet up on the battlefield, and Clayton is disrespectful to her as usual, but Tamika steps in and shuts him up, encouraging Mara. This little moment gives Mara the realization that the people from her past who treated her poorly shouldn't matter to her as much as those now, who do encourage and support her. This, as I see it, is her final step to self-acceptance, accepting the fact that she won't be able to change everyone's tolerance of who she is and who she's become. And that's pretty much it for Mara's story arc. Now, usually I hate it when writers just kind of throw a character in the back after their arc is over, but I honestly really like it here. Mara's not unimportant now, but she's still off to the side most of the time to make room for other characters like Alexis and Dresden, which I can live with. Mara's whole. Her character has gone full circle and there's not much left to dive into. Of course, that doesn't mean she doesn't get any more moments in the spotlight like in Reaper Rise. In all, I'm incredibly satisfied with the nuanced developments in Coşmara's story over the past 3 years since her introduction, as she was my initial favorite character even upon her introduction in Benny Saves Christmas. I'm so glad her character got the attention and care it deserved and was handled so damn well, even with all the other stories going on throughout Phase 2. That feels like the right note to end the video on. Please go check out PopCross Studios if you want to see more of these brilliant characters, and again, all credit to Christian for writing this wonderful story. But that is all I have for this video. Thank you for watching and subscribe.